Hey everyone! Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Today I've got an exciting video and we are going to be talking about 5 tips when applying for internships. So as some of you guys may know from my first video, I actually started as an intern at the organization that I am currently working for, and I'm now working in a full-time role. So now that I am on the employer side of things, I look at resumes on a daily basis, and I am a part of planning and facilitating our company's internship program. So before we dive into those 5 tips that I mentioned earlier, let's just talk about what is an internship. An internship is essentially a short-term working experience that are offered by companies and organizations to get some sort of entry-level exposure and experience to a certain industry or a certain field. Internships are usually offered to students who are in school full-time, and the most popular type of internship occurs over the summer months. Now, obviously, there are some exceptions to this. Not all interns have to be students, and there are internships that occur outside of the summer months. There's fall internships, winter, spring, but the most common type is for students who are in school and usually occurs over the summer months. Interns are usually assigned a project or some sort of project that will help get them that exposure into a certain field or a specific industry that they are interested in. And interns also make tons of connections and do a lot of networking throughout the summer. Internships are so helpful because they are such a good resume builder. And it's important to note that because when you go for full-time jobs, employers are going to be looking for students who have previous internship experience. Internship opportunities can also be a great first foot in the door when students are looking for employment opportunities post-graduation. So now that we know what an internship is and why they're important, here are some 5 tips that I have personally gathered that I think will really help you guys when applying for internships and will really help you land that dream internship position. First tip that I have is to be proactive when applying for those internship positions. Internships are pretty competitive. There are a lot of students who want those opportunities during the summer months, so timing is really going to be key here. I would say start looking and applying early. Most companies are going to post the internship positions early because they also want to be on top of things and want to get ahead and want to recruit and just have someone for the summer. So the earlier that you start planning and applying, the better off, again, you're going to be. If you know that you're going to be looking for a summer internship position, I would recommend start looking and applying by the December-January timeframe. And if you're going to be applying for a specific company that you know is going to have a high volume of applications, I would start looking even earlier than that. I would say probably around the September-October timeframe. The second tip that I have is resume, resume, resume. Resumes are so important because it is the first thing an employer sees that represents you. And it's essentially a piece of paper. So you want to make sure your resume is strong and it's striking and it captures the employer's attention. You also want to make sure that your resume is neat, organized, and professional. It helps us as recruiters easily view the highlights and the important details of your resume. If it's nice and neat and nice and organized, it's going to make our lives a lot easier, especially when we're going through so many resumes a day and we're trying to decide who to move on to next rounds. So with your resume, you're going to want to make sure that you keep it to 1 page, especially if you're applying for an internship position. We as recruiters don't need more than 1 page because you're coming out of school. We don't expect you to have pages on pages of work experience, and we definitely don't need to see, what clubs and honors and activities you received in middle school or elementary school. So anything that was relevant in high school, definitely college, put that on there. Also make sure that you highlight yourself, your email, and your phone number at the top, and make sure that it's nice and readable and legible, and that it's, again, clean so that we can easily view it. Education, previous work experience, and other sections like extracurriculars, volunteer activities, academic projects, things like that can also be on the resume. Another thing to point out is that a lot of organizations also use what's called an applicant tracking system. And this is essentially a system that just filters applications and resumes for us so that we don't always have to do it if there's an extremely high volume of resumes and applications. So if your resume has a lot of different fonts and text sizes and colors on it, the system might automatically disqualify you from being considered for the position if it can't read your resume. So definitely keep that in mind when formatting your resume. Again, you just want to make sure it's clean, it's professional, nice and organized, because you don't want that to happen to your application. My third tip, and probably one of my favorite tips, is experience is experience. This tip, you want to make sure you don't downplay any of your experience. You all are students applying for internships, so we don't expect you guys to have an award-winning 5-page resume. No matter how small you think your experience may be, make sure you put it on there. Even if it involves working at a restaurant, bussing tables, or as a waitress, or lifeguarding at your local swimming pool, that is experience and that is still relevant, especially when applying for internships. With writing descriptions on your resume with regards to your experience, the wording here is going to be key. So for example, did you work as a waitress taking orders over the summer? Or did you effectively communicate menu options to customers and practice superb customer experience skills to serve food options in a timely and efficient manner? Do you see the difference? Here's another example. Did you lifeguard at your local neighborhood pool over the summer? Or did you enforce pool regulations and water safety policies to ensure hazards were avoided and guests had a positive pool experience? It sounds so much better and so much more professional and is really gonna put you up above other candidates if you tweak the wording like that. My next tip is to start thinking about the type of company or the type of organization that you might want to work for. Do a little thinking. Do you want to be a part of a large organization? Do you want to be a part of a smaller organization? Do you want to work for a startup? Because all of these different companies are going to have very different company cultures. Also start looking into what industry do you want to work in? Is there a specific industry? You want to work in manufacturing? Do you want to work for tech companies? Because again, those are also going to have very different company cultures. Also, start researching and asking questions like, will these internships eventually lead to full-time positions? Are there going to be opportunities after the internship is done for part-time work while I'm in school? Because that is also great experience. And if an organization offers that, you definitely want to take that up. Last but not least, the last tip that I have for you all is to use those connections and build your network. Quite honestly, your network and your connections could be what helps you land a job post-graduation. Networking is so important in the professional world. I feel like I am constantly networking on a daily basis. Reaching out to people in your network could be what gets you that dream internship job or that dream job after graduation. So networking is so important and I can't stress it enough. Network through your family, your family's friends, your friends of friends, anyone that you may know, and especially use social media to your advantage. LinkedIn is a great website to use to find internship positions, to find full-time positions. It's really a site that has grown so much and employers really do use it. A lot of organizations actually pay for subscriptions to be a part of LinkedIn and to have access to certain features on LinkedIn. There's a feature called LinkedIn Recruiter that a lot of companies pay for, and they actually pay some good money for that. So take that site seriously. If recruiters reach out to you, if you're messaging recruiters, make sure that you're always being professional on there because we are looking. We secretly stalk people on LinkedIn and we are trying to find talent, especially in a tough recruiting market. So again, take that site seriously and really use that site to market yourself as a professional. Another thing that you could do is reach out to a manager on LinkedIn or a member of the HR team at the company that you're applying for to express your interest in the position. I always say the worst that someone can do is not reply or just say, no, we don't have any open opportunities. And the best it could do is potentially land you a job or, get you to that next step in the interview process. I always say if someone reaches out to me on LinkedIn, it just shows that they're going the extra mile and taking that extra step to express their interest. And so it always looks good to me, and I am always very impressed with candidates when they reach out to me on LinkedIn. Taking 5 minutes to write a message to the hiring manager or the HR person in the company that you're applying for the internship could be that difference between you getting pushed along to the next round, or in some cases, you landing the job. So that is all of the tips that I've got for you today. If you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to like, comment, give me some feedback, and if you enjoy these videos, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel.